Hey y'all, what's up? It's me. Promised you I'd come with a more message that's more structured and noted. I've got notes over here. I'm ready. Got my Biggie shirt on. Boom. Rastafari. Lion. I love that stuff. All right. I'm just gonna read what I wrote. All right. This is a book that I'm gonna that I'm really articulating right now. So I'm gonna read it out loud. Guys, tell me what you think. If not, that's okay. It's probably going to be a little bit of a longer video. So, you probably need to piece it together, however, whatnot, and so forth. So, here we go. All right. Today, I'm once again speaking to my target audience, which is black people and those who are equally oppressed, whether it be Latinos, Asians, or even whites who get some of the worst because they are poor. We all know that other white people don't like poor white people. We do know this. They get discriminated by because many assume they are like the racist whites. So they are oppressed with discrimination just like the rest of us who suffer from discrimination and racism. We all are oppressed here. Yeah, we all are. Anyway, I'm going to discuss oppression with emphasis directed toward black people. On May 1st, Frederick Douglass wrote this book titled, can you see that? That's Frederick Douglass. It's titled Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, an American Slave. Okay? I'm going to go over this book because my paper is going to be structured around this book and probably another book or two. So, I'm going to read you a quote that he wrote, and it's going to make sense. I'm going to discuss it with you. And if for those who don't know who Frederick Douglass is, he was a slave. He taught himself to read. He wrote this book, and he did a lot of great things for African American people, like helped with the first battalion, the first army of blacks. He made that possible. It's a movie called Glory, so go check that movie out. All right, so I'm going to read this. Page 93. The motto which I adopted when I started from slavery was this: trust no man. I saw in every white man an enemy, and in almost every colored man cause for distrust. It was a most painful situation, and to understand it, one must needs experience it or imagine himself in similar circumstances. I'm going to read that first part again. The motto which I adopted when I first started from slavery was this: trust no man. It's from slavery. That was his mindset. 175 years ago, that was written, but we still are living as such. Sadly, it is instilled within us the lack of trust amongst us. While we trust the government to tell us how to live, how to manage our finances, to determine how we eat, patrol our neighborhoods, write new laws, throw us into prisons, and ultimately kill us. So much do we trust this government that we even have allowed pastors who are speaking of prosperity to take over as the Lord's true message, and we accept it. Okay, they have failed us in all areas I have just named. They manage our finances to determine how we eat. Okay, and I'm going to give you a reason how they failed us. A high school white man makes the same as a black man who has earned a bachelor's degree, and we all know that healthy eating costs more. So the oppressed have no choice but to eat unhealthy to survive. No difference than the slop we were eating within slavery. The house niggas eat a little better, but how much more do they? Wondering why we are targeted within this virus, Here is the number one reason: finances. Yeah, patrol our neighborhoods. Do I need to get into specifics? How they have failed us in that aspect. How many blacks have innocently been murdered by the police last year? They earned an F on this part of the report card. An F. Write new laws. Mr. Clinton passed the 85% law that did more harm for all minorities. And let's not even get on Donald J. Trump, creating laws that we have yet to see that will continue the oppression on our minorities. Throw us into prisons? Well, the hard versus soft rule comes into play. So I'm not going to get into specifics. That's all I'll say. And ultimately, they kill us when they throw us into prisons. Next part. Educated, oppressed people, whether it be through the school system or self taught, one thing that is instilled within us is not to trust each other. Yet, such a small group of Trump supporters trust each other and look at their force. We have heard through music, starting with the blues, hip hop, political rap turned into gangster rap. Now it's all about partying. They even control the music. For look how Pac started and then evolved more into party music until his death, when we heard his true thoughts on, of course, the album Machiavelli. I don't even need to turn the page. I mean, we know that because of the white man's world and, the song Crazy. Um, those kind of songs, he was more of a he's more of an activist, political activist for black people. I mean, and then we started seeing his shift in music, but everyone knows that. Um, where am I at? Okay, then as soon as Machiavelli spoke more on the system, he was killed. So when he started speaking on the system, he was killed. Same with Biggie, same with Bob Marley. Their attempts to even block Jay Z with criminal activity in the beginning because they knew their potential to change our thought process on trusting each other. As many of us know, someone within the walls of the penitentiary, we realize the structure is based upon protecting each other's race within the walls to preserve the need for an additional soldier if the race war or the police decide to become more oppressive on the rights of those within the walls. You wonder why there's riots? Well, there is your answer: because of the oppression. So I can reread that again or slow it down. A lot of people know someone in the penitentiary. We know that when they're in the penitentiary, they stick to their own race. So, but that's what that means. And people in there are oppressed based upon their race. That's why their races stick together. So, that's what that is talking about: oppression. But every force will come together if the higher ups who are oppressing the people decide to oppress the people who are, it's divide and conquer. And that's what they've done. That's what I'm speaking on: divide and conquer. They've divided us and made us believe that we are different. We're no different. We're all being oppressed here by our government. And that's what this paper is about. That's what it's about. But we don't trust each other. And we have to learn to trust one another, because those Trump supporters who trust one another, look at the force that they have made here in America. Just that little force has opened up the floodgates for more money to be made from those who were forcing this opening. So the poor people will die. the black people will die because they can't afford the food. They can't afford what it takes to stop the virus from spreading, like the gloves, like the mask. They poor people can't afford that, and that's who they're killing, and they know that. They know that. But back to my paper. So still, we do not trust one another after realizing we are being oppressed. They are oppressing us more now than ever before because they have no need for us within this nation that they feel would do better without us in it. There's cheaper labor who are sitting within walls who came from Mexico that they have yet to be returned and who are separated from parents. Yet we forget so easily how slavery began within this country. For it did not begin overnight as some may believe. They had to exterminate some of the Indians in the process, while some were awakened that they both were oppressed in nature. Mm, exactly. So, what am I saying, you may ask? Well, of course, we need to trust each other so that we may fight oppression that is here and will begin to hit harder each week with food shortages, deaths, and economical disparities. Yet our minds need to change. As one who may not acknowledge they're a prisoner, it is important to educate self. Most of us do not know how to do this because the oppressor has never taught us how to think on our own. Instead, they pay more for those who can recite information that has passed their censorship within their textbooks. Those who are black, who are artists and not rappers, actors, athletes, have the most difficult times within developing their craft as poets or writers of literature. The oppressed kill other people who are oppressed, just as yourself. In simple terms, as a young person, we are taught to consume knowledge as though the undergraduates in school. But as adults, we lack skills as graduate students. Graduate students are supposed to prepare an individual to be a producer of knowledge rather than a mere consumer of knowledge that has already been written. For those who didn't know, this is what I do. I write for real, not as a mere puppet reciting the same lines you have heard about drugs, bitches, and alcohol, partying, and all that stuff. I produce knowledge. That's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm sharing with you. And how woke are you? You know? But this is chapter one. I'm gonna go take me a little shower. It's not even chapter one, it's just where I'm gonna stop at for now. And then I'll pick you back up and read a little bit more. So tell me what you think so far. I know I kind of got off subject, but I hope you understand where I'm coming from. All right. Peace.